Welcome to Industry Game.
Everyone has a story. On Industry Game, George Peters connects with people from all industries to uncover the moves they made that led them to where they are today. His mission? To capture as much game as possible.
This is Industry Game.
Sebastian, thanks for coming on the pod.
No, thank you for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be here. I was very excited when you asked me to come and do this.
Yeah, no doubt. This is great. So I just want to rewind to when we met. So we met this past spring in Monaco, or May, in Monaco at the Heaven Sake party, which was a great event.
Probably one of the best events out there in the world, in my opinion.
Literally.
Yeah.
You can't beat that place, right?
You can. Impossible. Like the whole setup.
The layout? Are you kidding me? That house?
is impossible to like do something better than that. And especially Carl, the way he designed it and the way he's done it, how good he is at little details. He is an amazing host and definitely one of the best parties in the world.
Has he been doing that for years?
For many years, yeah. I've been going there for about I'll say at least 8 years, if no longer, every year.
So to paint the picture of this party, it's like on the top of this mountain on like the ledge of the water in Monaco, right? And we're up.
It's actually on the Italian side.
On the Italian side, yeah.
It's not Monaco's in Italy. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's like it's this ridiculous house overlooking the harbor where like it's just littered in yachts during F1 weekend. It's the craziest party I've ever been to for sure. And there's people are taking helicopters in and getting dropped off at the helipad that overlooks the water in the harbor, and that's how people are showing up to this party. Not everybody's coming in on a helicopter, but a handful of people are, and the vibes were just amazing. It was the most beautiful
very
setup.
well curated, probably some of the best people in the world.
Probably the best looking cast of characters I've ever seen in my entire life. Have you ever seen anything like that?
And that's when people ask me like, what is the one party a year that you actually have fun and you're actually looking forward to go to? And it's that one.
The Heaven Sake party,
it's because it's so well executed and is probably the best example for branding out there in the world. Because
so clean.
If you notice, the open bar is only Heaven Sake.
Yeah.
And when the first time that I went there, when I spoke to Carl told me like, I want you to come so you can experience my party.
Yeah.
Because I want you to see the difference when you only drink Heaven Sake, like his sake, or when you're drinking other spirits or other beers or alcohol or anything. And it was perfect because for someone like me, like I have a big problem getting hangovers.
Yeah.
When I go there, I only drink Heaven Sake.
You don't get too drunk.
You don't get too drunk.
Day.
It's the perfect high, as you call it. And the next day, you don't have a problem getting a hangover or anything. So it's like the perfect branding opportunity for someone to show you, I have a great product, and this is my niche, is to show you that you can have the perfect high with Heaven Sake. If you only drink this, you don't get too drunk. You get very happy.
And the next day, you don't have a problem.
Literally all day, because I get there I like to get there early, at 4 or 5 p.m. because I love to see the sunset, and you literally get there all day and half of the night.
It's so that was pretty much, we got there at like around 4 as well, 3 or 4, and we must have stayed till like 11 o'clock, and it was just, we were drinking the sake all day, and it was great. But all right, so we met there, and then I want to rewind back to like your career and how you started and kind of share your story from like getting started in business to where you are today, and kind of walk us through different time periods in nightlife and events and stuff like that, and kind of let you share your story. Because my whole mission with this podcast is to it's called Industry Game, obviously, and my mission is to give people that are interested in getting into different industries, like your industry or their industry or whatever, a little bit of a playbook as to like how you got started or how they got started and kind of navigated your journy.
Yeah, I love your podcast. I've been listening to very interesting stories. I will talk after about some of my favorites. But yeah, so to go over my story, so I was born and raised in Colombia, and I came to the United States when I was 18 years old. One of my first jobs that I took was being a barback in a beach club in Miami. That ended up being, talking about year 2001, 2000, a long time ago. It was the most successful Beach bar, one of the most successful hospitality stories out there in the early 2000s.
Yep.
One of the pioneers. The name of this place is called Nikki Beach.
Yep.
And I was just literally just a barback. My job was just to stock ice, glassware, cut limes, cut lemons, and make sure the bartenders were okay. Since I was 20 years old. Since then, I always had a passion for hospitality, and I only knew that side of being behind the bar. And I started experiencing and doing more things that were beyond the scope of my job as a barback.
Right.
So I started doing liquor inventories. I started something very simple as writing down the name and numbers of all the bartenders that work there.
Right.
And that took me for upper management to be like, why is this barback the only person that when we need a bartender, we need to ask the barback, hey, can you call a bartender to come and replace?
Right.
Hey, we have a last minute event. Can you call some people to come?
Right.
Because not even the managers back then, we're talking about back then I had a flip phone.
Yeah.
And it was very strange to see someone with a flip phone just getting everyone's number just in case there was an emergency like that. So my start in hospitality was as a barback. But learning a little bit of how I could be more structured, how I could structure the operation of my bar better to make it more efficient and to make more sales. And again, I was 20 years old, year 2000. There was no that much out there like it is now of education on podcasts or
social media.
Tell me these things. That was just the inner me telling me you should do this if you want to do more sales, if you want to make more money, if you want to get more shifts. Once upper management and ownership noticed that I was a little different, they started asking me if I wanted to be a bartender, a head bartender, a floor manager. Then I was a VIP host.
And is Nikki, hold on, just to pause for a sec, is Nikki Beach popping at the time, or was it just starting to get going?
It was the best place.
So it was, so when you
100%.
came in, it was hot.
It was already the best place, best operation. Everybody in the world will want to come to Nikki Beach on Sunday to go there because it was the hottest place. And I will say is one of the first examples of how a small mop and pop, a hospitality company can go very, very big, global, and being acquired by someone bigger. Right. Because I think they were the first one, even before Tao Group. Yeah. They were the first one who did an expansion. At some point, I believe there were 17 locations open. Got it. And they are before 2010. So when I learned that, when I was in middle level management position, we had a management deal with Starwood Hotels in Hollywood, Florida, and I got to learn the pretty much the corporate side of hospitality. Right. Starwood has standard operating procedures. They have a proper accounting system, and I had to follow these rules, and I have to follow all these procedures in order to keep up with the management deal that we had. And I learned tremendously from that position.
Okay, so what is that position specifically? Is that
position was just like a floor manager? Okay. But again,
you were able to hop around.
Exactly. I always done things that are beyond the scope of my job. Yeah. And I always want to learn. And most people in hospitality, and I think in every business in general, if you show interest for something, they will show you. If I went to the controller and asked you, I want to show me what a P&L looks like.
He'd show you. Yeah.
I want to see how you itemize everything on a P&L and how is my role important to the owners and things like that. People will want to work with you if you show interest for it.
Okay. So as you're being floor manager at this time, what's next step from there?
The next step was project manager for a location in Atlantic City that it didn't do very well, but I learned a lot of lessons.
Yep.
Probably most of my lessons, my university, my master degrees was in this 6-month period.
School of hard knocks.
6-month period in Atlantic City where a lot of things didn't go the way that we wanted, to put it in a nice way.
Okay, so at that point, are you still on a management level on the whole operation?
Project management. I'm 24 years old. I'm project manager of a very large operation, 30,000 square feet, 3 venues in Atlantic City with a major casino. And then from there, because I was in New Jersey, they moved me to New York in the year 2025. This is my 20th year in New York. That's when I moved to New York in September. And that's how when I moved to New York to open another location here. And make it long story short, I went from director of operations, I did director of marketing, I did branding, I touched the PR side, and my last job with Nikki Beach was actually as a hotel manager in Thailand, in Koh Samui.
Oh, nice. And how was that? What was it like living in Thailand? How long were you over there?
10 months.
Was it fun?
It was different.
Were you ready to come home? Home? And then after that, do you come back to
Came
New
back
York
to New
full
York.
time?
Yeah, I came back to New York. Met with Ronnie Madra, a very good friend of mine, someone that I respected a lot in the hospitality. He introduces me to Richie Q and Scott Sartiano. They have a project called the Derby. I managed the Derby. We closed the Derby and opened a nightclub called Up and Down. Run Up and Down, One Oak, and then open a subdivision in the company for the special events and pop-ups, which are brand activations pretty much.
Okay, so at that time, this is like early 2000, like
Right now we're in 2015, 2016.
2015, 2016. What's New York nightlife back then? Like, what's it like back then? Because that was like, was it one of the peaks of New York nightlife?
I think New York nightlife before the pandemic, up until 2018, 2019 was always pretty good.
Yeah.
They were just very different pockets of people that will go to different types of clubs.
Right.
You have the Lower East Side kids, you have the clubs that were a little bit more upscale on the Upper East Side, and you have the clubs, the real clubs that were more of them in the Chelsea, Meatpacking area.
Right.
Nightlife was really fun. In my opinion, the real fun clubs and the more successful clubs were the clubs that were able to curate a proper guest list of a little bit of celebrity, a little bit of Upper East Side, a little bit of the kids or the cool fashion people, a little bit of the people from, for example, finance, like a little bit of everything, and put them together in a room.
That's what curates a good party.
And show them how everybody, when the light, when the music goes on, when the lights go off, can actually have fun. And there's no subdivision of like, oh, you're a finance person, or you're from the Lower East Side, or you're only a musician, you only hang out with celebrities. Everybody at some point understand that you're at the same level if you're at the right place. Yeah. So that's what nightlife used to be in those years.
And then, so like curating an event, how do you curate an event or create a club that has the hype of a One Oak or these exclusive spots that you were opening and running? Because it's not easy to create buzz around a venue, right? And I think that what I'm curious to know is like what goes into making One Oak, and how do you bring these venues to be what they are in a way that people are so desired to get in that like sometimes people can't get into these venues unless they know somebody, right? Like how do you build that hype and what goes into that?
So I'm going to answer that from my point of view because I was not the person who made One Oak what One Oak is.
Yeah.
That would be Rich Akiva.
Right.
Ronnie Madra had a lot to do with it.
Yep.
Scott Sartiano had back then a lot to do with it. So I'm going to answer that from what I saw, what they did, because I was not the one doing it.
Yeah.
What they were good at is that, for example, between the three of them, they were all good at different things.
Yeah.
The most common denominator was Richie Akiva.
Yeah.
And his philosophy is exactly what I just explained. His philosophy is like, to create a good party, you need to make sure that you get everyone at the level where everyone forgets that you're a celebrity or you're the average person or you don't even have money to be in this club, but you're cool enough. You're bringing something culturally that will apport to the vibe of the room.
Right.
And Richie was very good at understanding that. There was people that literally that had absolutely no money to be in a place like One Oak.
But they fit the room.
Culturally, they were relevant.
Right.
They brought something. They had style. They have something that was important. They look good. They presented themselves well.
Yeah.
They weren't. There's some people that were not even extremely good looking. Like everybody, assumes like everyone has to be very good looking to be in a place like this. It's not about being good looking, being the best dressed. It's about being yourself and bringing something that adds cultural, that adds something culturally to the event or to the operation that you are putting together. It has nothing to do with having the most money, being the most beautiful person, knowing the most people. It's about being yourself, and yourself is enough to add something that culturally will add to the party. And this is how these places get the hype, because it's pretty much a combination of everyone going there and everybody representing a different demographic of New York City, the Bronx, the Lower East Side, Soho, the Upper East Side, the Upper West Side. You know, you will see at One Oak sometimes some parents from the Upper West Side.
Yeah.
That they're not really coolest people. They're not young, but they're there for a reason.
Right.
And Richie is very good. Richie Kiva was very good at understanding why everybody was so important and why they should be at that party.
Right. Yeah, no, it's interesting. And I feel like the relationship side of hospitality and nightlife is an interesting thing, because I spent some time working in hospitality when I lived out in LA, And what I learned is like, if you have the right relationships and know the right people, you can have the luxury of getting connected and being plugged in at different venues and this and that, restaurants or whatever. Like, we all know those hard to get into restaurant reservations and this and that. But what I want to get to is how important are relationships for you and across business as a whole? Like, whether it's a client, a partner, or whatever, how have you been able to foster these relationships at the highest level, whether it's like celebrity relations or just high net worth people? How have you been able to curate events and parties with these people and establish rapport with them so that they keep coming back to you?
So relationships is probably the currency that I manage the most in my life.
Yeah.
Some people have a great relationship with money. Some people have a great relationship with time. My currency is pretty much my network. It's the people that know me, the people that respect me, because for so many years doing this, watching me from the outside, these people have seen me for 15 years, 10 years, doing the same thing and having some ethical compass, a moral compass on the right direction. So that's what people like about me. And that's why all these people keep coming back to me. And I have clients, like, for example, like I just worked out during Fashion Week with Vogue Business.
Yeah.
They like working with me because they know that I always made the right call. They call me for things like, do you think this is the correct pricing for this? Do you think this is the right venue? And for me, but the fact that I have this relationship with all these brands, companies, individuals is the most important currency that I have in my life.
It's credibility, right?
Credibility, exactly.
You deliver on what you say.
Credibility and being able to be myself.
Yeah.
And these people accepting me for who I am and being like, I really want to be associated with you on X, Y, or Z level.
So as far as like events, what goes into putting together a good event? So aside from like the nightclubs and lounges and stuff like that, what goes into creating a good event or a pop-up that you're putting together? Like, can you touch on some events that you've put together that have stuck out to you? And like, first off, I want to go into like what goes into a good event, and then I want to touch on some of your favorite events that you've put together.
So it's a long list of how you put an event together, and there's different factors. One of the most important ones, and I'm kind of going to be boring because this is the black and white answer, is the financial aspect of the event.
Right. Yeah.
Who's paying
What's
for
your
the event?
budget? What's your budget?
How are you going to cover the expenses? Which, believe it or not, on the type of event that I do, is one of the most complicated ones. But the first thing I would like to touch is the financial side of the event.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Is like, what is it going to be the event like? How are you going to cover it? What is the budget to make sure that the event is properly done? Second thing is the creative direction. This is when like Richie Kiva comes in. He's the best in the world at creative direction of an event. He'll tell you exactly where the event is going to be, why it should be there, who should be invited, how many people should be there. And I can never tell you why he comes out with this, but he just knows it. And he knows exactly what he wants, detail by detail. So my job is to make sure that I have the artistic direction that comes from Richie Kiva and put it on a business plan and make sure that I'm able to cover the expenses for that for that direction that he's given me.
It's a lot of moving pieces.
Yes, it's a lot of moving pieces, but the two main pieces are the creative direction, to make sure that you have someone who knows what they want, or a brand that comes to me and tells me like, this is what we want, this is the type of venue that we're looking for, this is the amount of people that we want, but we don't have a budget. So then the second factor comes in. It's like, okay, so how are we gonna cover this event? And a lot of people come to me like that. Like, listen, I have this great idea. I would love to do this event like this and that. And I'm like, okay, I know you don't have a budget because you're an upcoming brand.
Right.
I just worked with a Swedish brand recently. It's a startup, and I love their product, and I help them. Like, let's try to cover some of the expenses with sponsorship, with strategic partnerships, or let's bring in someone who can pretty much finance your event, and they'll get something out of it. So those are the two main things that go to putting an event together. Other than that, the planning, the logistics, the hiring the right people, the decor, the production side.
The production's crazy.
Yeah, those are things that are a little bit easier to solve because there's different vendors that do very good jobs at it, and there are different vendors that you can choose from. But mainly the creative direction and the finance side are the two main components that can make or break an event.
Yeah, so I want to rewind to like back to Cannes and Monaco, that film from film festival to
Formula
One weekend, crazy weekend, right? Like,
Yeah.
And there's some of the best parties in the world within that
Absolutely.
2 weeks, right?
And they've been going there for decades.
Yeah,
100%.
So
yeah.
I've been going out there for the past couple of years, and one of the parties that stuck out to me most, or like the most hyped up party, the most desired party, is the AmfAR after party. Can you talk about that night?
So the AmfAR after
What goes
party,
into that event?
That's probably been going on for about 15 years.
Yeah.
I've been involved probably since 2015, so probably for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
But even before I got involved on that,
Yeah.
it's been going on.
Yeah.
And it's an iconic night because the Cannes Film Festival is a very long festival.
Yep.
And people understand it. People in the real industry of the films, they go for the first 6-7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And those people who are really looking to sell a movie or do a strategy of distribution of the movie, they go for those 6-7 days. And then the second part of the festival, that's when you get
The events.
everybody, the celebrities, the CAA party, the galas, people that really want to go there because it's
Yep.
more of a glamour and more of a cachet thing. Like I went to the Cannes Film Festival, I did this red carpet. So the AmfAR is strategically placed on the last day, the last Thursday, which is pretty much the last day of the festival.
Right.
So let's start with that. It's a very important when it comes chronologically, the time, the date, and the day is perfect to make
Yeah.
sure that you get the best of the best people.
And then I just want to touch on. I want to let the listeners know that the AmfAR Gala. Can you take a moment to elaborate on how exclusive and how big of an event that AmfAR Gala is that leads up to your after party?
Well, it's not just the AmfAR. You have a lot of galas that are
Yeah.
pretty much like that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good nonprofit.
Yep.
And they secure a very good production company that has the top talent.
Yeah.
I've seen the best performances in the world
Yeah.
there. They have top performances only. The same production did an event before in Saint-Tropez, and I got to see it was Madonna, and I believe Lenny Kravitz it was just like the most like the celebrities that you will see in a concert for 40,000-50,000 people, and you're watching them right
in front of you.
Yeah, 15 feet away from you with one of the most beautiful locations, which is the Hotel du Cap
Crazy.
in Cap Antibes. And you're getting obviously catered by one of the best chefs. So it's like they have all the components to make sure that it's the perfect gala. Same thing, it starts in the afternoon. You get to see the sunset for the pictures, and then you go inside. By the time you come out, it's already night. So there's all these components that make the gala very special. But I will say overall, every gala you go to in the Cannes Film Festival
It's beautiful.
is going to have a wow factor.
Yep.
That's going to be undeniable, one of the best things in the world.
Definitely. So fast forward after the AmfAR Gala, the after party.
The After.
The
It's
After.
called by Richie Kiva.
The after. This is just to paint the picture. This is the most hyped up party I've ever heard of in my life. Everyone I knew in Cannes is trying to go to this party. It is the party. So
it's kind of a bad thing as well because this year we only put this party together about 5 days before.
Yeah.
Before that, we were not having a party.
right.
And I have people who didn't know that I was involved saying I'm going to the AmfAR after party. And I'm like, there's no after party, that. It's like, no, yeah.
Right.
There is. It's at the same house. And
Yeah.
we didn't even have the house at this
Oh,
point.
so you guys didn't plan it?
We planned it really last minute.
Yeah.
But we're talking about way before. Everybody was texting me, emailing me. I have my IG
I bet you're
in the month of May is I feel like I'm
blowing up.
oh yeah.
You gotta shut the app off.
Well, you just start. Everybody's like, hey, how are you doing? How are you and your
How are
family
you?
doing?
Yeah, right. You're like,
that's
I've
how-
heard this whole song.
That's how everybody starts in May.
Yeah.
But-
They start watering it a couple months prior.
But I'm like, there's no event. There's no party.
Yeah.
We don't have a property.
Right.
We don't have a house.
Right.
And we ended up planning it last minute at the same venue. It's probably, as you say, people from all over the world. The door opens at midnight. There's people that been from 1 a.m. still at 4 or 5 in the morning trying to get in. We're talking about thousands of people. I don't know where these people come from. I have no idea.
The outside of this
No idea.
party to get in with the gate and everything is there's hundreds of supermodels trying to get in. I remember being out there and just seeing the amount of people, celebrities trying to get in. I've never seen anything like it. The hype
it becomes a problem because these models that are very influential for our business and
Yeah,
which
yeah.
you need to take care of them, they're blocked by day, no hundreds. I'll close to say that would be probably over 1,000 people trying to get in.
Yeah.
So it's what I said about Lisa. It's kind of a negative thing that everybody wants to attend this party because we are not allowed to provide the level of hospitality that we would like to provide because people are being blocked.
Right.
The fact that I have to push 100 people to get someone like Naomi Campbell in or someone like that,
right.
it shouldn't be like that. Like
Right,
these
right.
people should be able to walk in
Smooth.
right away. Yeah, but there's just so many people. And these people, I don't even think they go to the Cannes Film Festival. I have no idea
Who they are, where
who they are,
yeah.
how they hear about it, where they come from, and how do they get there. You get new people coming like at 4:35 in the morning, like a rush of another 200, 300 people
crazy.
trying to get in. No clue where they come from, how
Right.
they hear about it.
So on the other side of the gate, let's walk. I don't know how much details you can go into, but I just like putting together an event like that, making sure everything is perfect. You know what I mean? You're dealing with the most high net worth people across the world, celebrities, all of that. Can you talk about like the setup process and what goes into coordinating everything behind the scenes?
So the good thing is that the setup process is done by someone that I work with very closely. His name is Zoltan from Paris.
Yeah.
So at least he does that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I
So you don't have to deal with it.
yeah. So I just go there and see.
And he's
that
the best of the best.
He does an amazing job. I don't know if he does, but he does a great job with that
Yeah.
event, and he's been doing it for the past 6, 7 years, 8 years. So at least that is set up. So
Yeah.
and he's very creative of how he makes sure that he tried to create something that is going to help the level of hospitality for the people who walk in, because our mission is if you went through that gate, which a lot of people don't go through the gate. I think a lot of people jump the bushes or something.
Really?
Because,
Yeah.
because there's people that I'm
It's
like,
crazy.
wait,
How did you get in
I,
here?
I just saw you for an hour and I say no to you for an hour and I go to the restroom and I
And
see
you're-
the person
you're in the bathroom.
on top of a table like he owns the party, and like, how did this happen? So
That's crazy.
So if you make it through the gate, through the door, you're
for you.
supposed to have top level of hospitality.
Right.
And we're supposed to literally like make sure that
red
you have
carpet.
a great time and you're integrated. It's very difficult by the time anyone is in to be like, you need to leave, or we're not that kind of people. We're not there to kick people out or anything like that. Our philosophy is like, just make sure you enjoy the party and make sure that you're getting
Respectful.
along with people,
Yeah.
being respectful and adding something to the vibe that's going to create a great event.
Totally. So that party goes on. Do you have any other events like that the listeners would be interested in hearing about? Because I know, like, me specifically, like, I love going to a great event, like those types of events. And then, like, stuff you do in New York. What's one of your favorite events you do, whether it's an annual thing or a one-off thing, but an event that you've done in New York that has just been so well done and you've been
I think
proud of?
the Met Gala after party also that I do it for Richie Akiva. It's the same thing. Richie is the creative director. He gives me the vision. This is what I want, and I take that vision and make it into a business. How we're gonna financially execute this and how we're gonna put everything together.
How do you put together the Met Gala after party? How does that work? Like, walk us through what goes into that, the lead up, and everything.
So the main thing to create a hype is what Richie does, which is making sure that the host believe in him that he can throw a great party, and he does.
Right.
He's not like the biggest. I don't like to name drop, but he's thrown the biggest names out there in the world.
Yeah.
The after parties for them after the Met Gala.
Yeah.
Whatever the celebrity is being on the board or is attending the Met Gala, he likes to extend the invitation and be like, I would like to host your after party.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the main thing, is to make sure that there's people on that level that trust Richie with saying like, we're gonna give you the opportunity to throw the after party. From there, we dive really into what is the theme of the after party for that year.
Right.
We really, really take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we do a Met Gala after party and we just choose a venue and we just throw a party, we put the tables and the lighting and that's it. No, we dive for like, I'm saying about weeks, like 4 or 5 weeks.
Right.
Of what is the interpretation
To curate it.
of the theme of the Met Gala and the Metropolitan at the Met, And how can we take that interpretation into a party
Right.
in this venue?
Yep.
So it's very, very difficult things. I work with Ron Hansford. He does usually flower design, but he's very good at culturally understanding the vision. When Anna Wintour was there, why would she want to do this theme of this party, and how do we interpret that? On the Met Gala, how do you interpret that into a party?
Right.
Little details. Like, for example, I remember when we did the one about technology. He came up with an amazing design where the ceiling had every little detail of the venue had to do with the technology part that the Met Gala was trying to be associated with. So that's a very important factor.
It's details.
That for us is extremely legit, that we're doing something legit, that we're diving into the culture, the cultural programming of the Met, and interpret that cultural programming of the Met into the party. It's not just doing something and then just putting red lights and white lights or something like that. It's just like really like make sure that the moment you walk in, there's gonna be an interpretation of us of the Met Gala. So that's the most important detail. How do you make sure that you transform the vision of the Met into a party into a different venue? Because we usually do it in different venues.
Got it.
That's definitely, I'm not gonna say that's my favorite because it's very difficult to execute.
Stressful.
Yeah, but it's definitely, it takes me a couple of weeks to recover, but it's definitely the one that I put the most effort and the one that takes the most out of me.
Right. Okay. And then in terms of like getting into the, like, obviously people can't just show up to the after party. Like nobody's going to get into like the door and stuff like that. Getting into those, I bet it's like a brick wall. Nobody's coming in.
Usually Rich Akiva, besides being the creative director, he does the door himself. He spent, I would say, 60% of his time at the door.
Oh, of that night?
Yeah. Because he wants to make sure that only the right people gets in there.
He's that adamant about who's in and who's out.
That night, specifically
Nobody's
night,
bullshitting their way in.
He likes to be there because he likes to make sure that it's properly curated.
Yeah, because it has to, because it's a reflection of what you guys are building.
Yeah, and you have a room with probably like 20 to 30 of the most influential celebrities in the world. Yeah,
and they want to be taken care of. Yeah. Awesome. So that's that's I can't imagine that night. And then do you guys do a lot of stuff in like Europe other than in Cannes? Do you guys do anything like with Paris Fashion Week and stuff like that?
Paris Fashion Week, we've been doing it for many years. I haven't been involved lately for the past 1 or 2 years, but we did Paris Fashion Week since 2014, 13. I was involved. I got involved with it. Right now, I think Paris is going through a little like crisis where there's way too many events of what we used to do. Everybody's trying to replicate the same formula, and something needs to change. Yeah, it's just the same formula that we did in 2012, 2011, 2013, 2014. It was cool back then,
but it's not.
But then everybody's like a copy and paste. Yeah, formula. Let's go to a club. Let's hire an artist. Let's do a performance, and let's call it Paris Fashion Week. There's got to be something new. I don't know what is going to be the new thing, but I would like to be part of whatever is going to be new. But to do this copy and paste formula is just becoming a little bit too commercial.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Too much.
Yeah, no, I think that what I've always enjoyed about going to these events is like being in a place like an after party or whatever. You want to feel like it's a special curated vibe, right? Across the board, from like the experience of walking in to the experience of hanging out and to the experience of who you're around.
And something new, something
it's
fresh.
Got to be new, something fresh. And then anything that gets stale isn't good.
Yeah.
And all right, so in terms of like somebody who's looking to get into working in rooms like this, what advice would you give to somebody who's 18 years old, 20 years old, that's looking up to someone like you and wants to work in events and hospitality at the highest level with the highest clientele? What advice would you give them if they were starting out?
I think in my era, I sound old now, but like before the advice that I used to give people before was like work hard. I don't think you need to work hard as we used to before. I think the most important thing is showing up. You need to show
Consistency.
And it's hard to get consistency because even before consistency is just show up. You just see that there's an interview, if you see that there's an opportunity to meet someone, if you see an opportunity to send someone a message on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on text, or stop someone on the street, just show up and do it. It's extremely important, and you'll be surprised of how many people I have messaged, I have stopped on the street, or I have like with no hope of getting an answer. And people really care if you actually show up and show interest for something. So my advice would be like, if you're listening to this and you're like a little interested in these events and hospitality, find out my Instagram, find out my LinkedIn, and send me a message. 9 out of 10, like I will probably answer most likely because people have done it for me.
Right.
So I feel like I'm obligated to pass it forward, to pay it forward. If somebody asks me something, I need to at least answer to that person and have a more of a one-on-one. But my advice is just like in the sports, is like you need to show up. If you show up,
good things happen.
Things will happen, even though it's gonna take a long time. It's gonna be through a lot of suffering or a lot of rejection.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna fail. But if you keep showing up, if you eventually will get whatever goal you want to be, whatever it is in entrepreneurship, or personal level, or the sports level, it's extremely important to make sure that you're always showing up. So before even consistency, you need to show up.
You gotta create your own luck too by putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then I always want to wrap up with a few rapid fire questions. Obviously, if you could, so this one's one of my favorites. If you could have dinner with 4 people from any time period, they could be anybody, who would you choose and why?
I think the first person that comes to my mind is alive now is Paulo Coelho. He wrote the book, The Alchemist, which I think changed my life when I read his book. I was 18 years old. It's one of the best books I ever read because it made me feel that I wasn't alone. I felt like an outcast when I was 17, 18 because people were like, oh, you need to go to college, finish your degree, and get a master's in order to be someone in life. And when I read his book and I read about the main character is this guy, Santiago, that travels the world. And when I learned about Santiago and I understood how he read the book, and I was like, Paulo Coelho is the one person who will understand me. This is when I was 17. Obviously, now that I'm older, I understand there's a lot of more people who have the vision that I had.
Right.
But when I was 17, 18, and the advice that I got from everyone was like, you need to go to school, you need to finish school, otherwise you're going to be a nobody. I felt like Paulo Coelho was there to make me understand that I wasn't alone, that I wasn't an outcast, that was understood. So that would be like my first person, and he's still alive. Second person will be Bob Marley.
Okay, that's a good one.
For different things. First of all, the philosophy he had about uniting people. It was, I know it only works on paper, but he had the intention. Second of all, what he did with music, which was put reggae and create different types of music like disco, put it together and create, I would say it's kind of its own style of music. Right. I haven't seen anyone else Pete Tosh and all these other artists that are composers of the same genre of music that he plays. No one has done the job that he has done. So I think those two that I can think of. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's
think of
fine.
anyone
Two's
else.
perfect. That's all. And what are you guys having for dinner? What's your meal of choice?
Oh yeah, that's a bad question. Probably pizza.
Pizza's my favorite.
Probably.
But I will say New York doesn't have the best pizza. Connecticut does. New Haven. I always drive through New Haven on my way back, and I have to get a
Pretty
slice.
Good. Yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
They're all good.
And then I want to know, what's your favorite brand aside from your own? What's your favorite company or brand? It could be anything.
So, I don't want to sound like I'm picking a brand that is too commercial.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you the brand. I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
North Face.
Why?
North Face did for me the most, besides Heaven Sake doing his party, because Carl is amazing.
Heaven Sake might be one of my favorite brands too, because that is on point.
Heaven Sake, I don't drink much.
I don't either, but I love their party.
So it wouldn't fit in my personal opinion.
Yep.
But his branding is amazing with that event. But North Face, the reason why is because North Face did this branding. It's called the Project Pinnacle, I believe it was. And they built a store, I believe it was in the Alps, in Dolomites, in 2018. I know the Dolomites are crazy right now. Everybody wants to go to the Dolomites. Back in 2018, the Dolomites was a very, very No, that many people
Low-key,
wanted to
yeah.
go there unless you were like a hardcore like mountaineer.
Yeah,
You will go there.
right.
And they built this store, and it was supposed to be the highest like an altitude store in the world. And it was a North Face store. In order for you to get there, you had to go through a 2-hour hike.
Yeah.
To get to the store and purchase the selected items. So that, in my opinion, has been the best activation I ever seen.
Yep.
And that's why I always have a lot of respect for the brand North Face.
Got it. Awesome. And then what is your favorite restaurant in New York City?
Oh, that's a very, very difficult question.
Favorite Italian. If you were to take me to one restaurant for Italian, where would we go?
I don't want to sound like I'm going with what everybody's
That's
going.
all right. That's all right.
I hate to be like that, but Teresi is doing an amazing job with the things. The food is great.
Which one?
Teresi.
Teresi.
But it's also the customer service.
Is the experience great?
Yeah, like the host. Like
I
forgot
gotta
her
go.
name.
I've never been.
She's a lovely lady.
Yep.
And she's just so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't have a reservation, she's gonna kill you with kindness and
that's
tell
awesome.
a story, which is great. But also the food
It's
is
unbelievable.
experience. Yeah, and like most of these restaurants that you go to in New York, the better they are, they know, the more the stuff is very stiff because they know you need to go there. They know you want to be there.
And then some of them have attitudes, and they
Correct. They have, because they know.
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter what attitude you get, the server is going to give you, you're still going to come back and you're dying to get that reservation.
Right.
Teresa is the only place that has that factor where like every server, the bartender.
From the top down.
Everybody's just, they treat you extremely nice. Wherever you have a reservation or not, the way they tell you, I'm sorry, you don't have a reservation, will you please step in now? Even that.
They're nice.
They're very, very good at it. So I like that. And I know this is just going with like what everybody's going and everything, and I hate to be the one who always goes to this.
That's all right.
To say
Yeah.
that place, but they just did an amazing job with that.
Awesome. And then where's your favorite place you've ever traveled?
Up until this year,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? It's been consistency. Sweden, where my wife is from.
Nice.
Yeah, we go to a place that is 3 hours northwest from Stockholm. It's called Dalarna. Dalarna is the area, and it's like pretty similar to like the Hudson Valley of upstate New York.
Got it.
A lot of lakes. There's
Yep.
no mountains in Sweden, but a lot of lakes, a lot of nature, and I love that place in the summer and in the winter. It's my favorite place in the world. That's the
Really?
only place. The first time I got to fully relax in my life was, I will never forget, 2015, 2014.
Yeah.
And it was there when I was in a hammock overseeing
Relaxing, yep.
the lake. And I fell asleep, and my wife's like, "Why are you sleeping in the afternoon? You never catch me like taking a nap." And I'm like, "I think this is the first time in my life that actually
I'm relaxing.
truly relax." So I have to, and in the winter it's pretty cool too. The lake is frozen, so I go there. People think I'm crazy. We go with a chainsaw, open a little hole, and we go and take little plunges for
That's
like
awesome.
30 seconds.
And then you've been doing the Ironmans. How long have you been doing Ironmans?
Only one, 70.3.
How was that?
My full one is next year. It was interesting.
I bet it was tough.
Yeah, I got very sick the week before, so it made it a little bit more, even a little spicy because of me getting sick. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I never thought I could do an Ironman.
Yeah.
At 70.3. Now I'm doing the full one next year, but I never even thought I could do the 70.3. But I have the best coach in the world.
Yeah.
She pushed me. She told me I could do it, and she got it done.
That's awesome.
I
Good
owe
for
that
you,
medal
man.
to her
That
and my
is
wife.
tough. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Well, Sebastian, I appreciate you coming on. If you could just let everybody know where they can find you, social media, if that's of interest, but either way.
Yeah,
we
no,
appreciate
absolutely.
you
If
coming
anyone
on.
is interested in any of the topics, you can find me on Instagram, Sebastian Norena, my handler, my full name and last name. And if it's a little bit more serious about hospitality, P&Ls, numbers, things like that, you can direct those questions usually to my LinkedIn,
Cool.
which is also Sebastian Norena.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on. I appreciate it.
No problem.